Important changes to note in the general knowledge of the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education. The maiden edition of GES aptitude test was written in February 2020. At that time, the Education Act that was governing pre-tertiary education in the country was Act 778 of 2008. Shortly afterwards in August 2020, was the establishment of Education Regulatory Bodies Act 2020, Act 1023, and Pre-Tertiary Education Act 2020, Act 1049, and there have been a lot of changes, amendments and realignments in our education system. GES Council members and their tenure of office. GES Act 506, 1995, established 15-member GES Council. However, Pre-Tertiary Education Act 2020 Clause 10 has reduced the membership from 15 to 12. With regard to their tenure of office, while it was 3 years in Act 506, the current Act has extended it to 4 years, and eligible for another term only. Divisions at the GES headquarters. In February 2020, AD2, question 4 was, how many functional divisions does Ghana Education Service have at the headquarters? A. 9, B. 10, C. 11, D. 12. At that time, February 2020, the divisions at the headquarters were 10. 3 divisions were under the jurisdiction of the then Deputy Director General, Management Services, Mr. Anthony Boateng, while the rest of the 7 were under the Deputy Director General, Dr. Kwabena Bempatando, Quality and Access. In sharp contrast, as we speak today, those 10 divisions have drastically been reduced to 5. The 7 divisions which were under the Deputy Director General, Quality and Access, who is still at post, have been reduced to 2, namely, Special Education Division, and Schools and Instructions Division, while the remaining 3 divisions namely, Human Resource Management Division, Finance Division, and Administration Division which are under the current Deputy Director General, Management Services, Mr. Stephen Kwaku Owusu. AD2, 2020, question number 8. How many units has the Technical and Vocational Education Division, TVET, of the Ghana Education Service, GES, headquarters? TVET is currently no more a division under the GES headquarters, but a full agency under the Ministry of Education, as it gained its autonomy from the GES on December 14, 2021, and became the newest agency under the MOE. Applicants should note that stakeholders in education include the PDA, SMC, Board of Governors, Old Student Association, NGOs, international partners such as the World Bank, UNICEF, UNESCO, JICA, USAID, etc. However, these category of stakeholders in education are not members whose names are on the GES payroll, and do not fall under the members of the Ghana Education Service. TVET and TVET. Before the establishment of Act 1023, there existed Council for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, TVET, which used to regulate all technical institutions in the country. In addition was the National Board for Professional and Technical Examination, NABTEX, which was also an agency under the Ministry of Education. But with the establishment of Act 1023, these 2 bodies have been merged, and now called Commission for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, CTVET. This means, both TVET and NABTEX are now defunct. TVET is scrapped, as a result of the establishment of TVET service, likewise GES, which has Council as the highest decision-making body. TVET also has its highest decision-making body called TVET Council. Concurrent establishment of Education Regulatory Bodies Act, 2020 and Pre-Tertiary Education Act, 2020, Act 1049. Education Regulatory Bodies Act, 2020, Act 1023, has established 5 regulatory bodies namely, 1. Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTC. 2. National Teaching Council, NTC. 3. National Schools Inspectorate Authority, NASIA. 4. National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, NACCA. And 5. Commission for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, CTVET. Pre-Tertiary Education Act, 2020. This act has established 1. Ghana Education Service. 2. Ghana Technical and Vocational Education and Training, TVET Service. Kindly remember that both Act 1023 and Act 1049 have amended Act 778 of 2008. Here is the difference between the two acts. While GES and TVET service are policy implementing bodies, the 5 bodies under Act 1023 are regulating bodies. GES is currently being regulated by NTC, NACCA, and NASIA, while TVET service is regulated by CTVET and GTC. GTEC was established by Act 1023 as a result of the merging of National Accreditation Board, NAB, and National Council for Tertiary Education, NCTE. Additional information the applicants must note are: the Minister of Education is Dr. Yaw Dutwam, the Deputy Minister of Education in charge of pre-tertiary is Honorable John Tim Ford Jur, the Deputy Minister of Education in charge of TVET is Professor Kingsley Nyarko, the Chief Director of the Ministry of Education is Mrs. Mamal Andrews, the Pro. Of the Ministry of Education is Kwasi Kwarteng. The agencies under the Ministry of Education are 19. Director General of the GES is Dr. Eric Nkansa, the Deputy Director General, Management Services is Stephen Kwaku Owusu, the Deputy Director General, Quality and Access is Dr. Kwabena Bempatando, the Pro. Of GES is Cassandra Tomampafo. The Chairman of the GES Council is Mr. Michael Kenneth Nsoa, the Director General of TVET Service is Mr. David Pra, he just succeeded Mawusi Nudkor Awadi, the Chairman of TVET Service Council, Nana Wariko Ampem. The number of TVET Service Council members is 13, the Director General of CTV, Dr. Fred Kai Asamoah. The Director General of NACCA, Professor Yared Zakadzi, Director General, GTEC is Professor Abdulai Jinapur and the Director General of NASIA is Hagar Hilda Ampadu. Thanks to Benjamin Kwame Kumson for this valuable piece of information. See you in the next video. Cheers.